I'm Haley Gruis, and I decided to do my diversity immersion project over alcoholism. I decided that this would be a good topic for me because I have never known much about it or what it really means to be an alcoholic, and just different ways to treat it or the resources around me that I can offer to people if I need to. I started off by talking about my personal biases. Um, I grew up listening to others say they just need to stop drinking. That was always like the go-to words of just tell them to stop drinking. They're just choosing to drink on and on and on. I heard that from the start of school to my family members, anything like that. It always just seemed like it was a negative thing to be an alcoholic. And even my family members who were alcoholics, I was like always separated from them. I never like got to have a relationship with the ones who are alcoholics. So I always thought it was important to learn more about it. Um, Many people don't care to learn about the illness, which is really a big part of it, is many people think that they're just using this as a way to say it's an illness, but it really is an illness. Just like mental health is an illness, these are all illnesses that people go through. People think of illnesses, they only think of being sick, and they don't think of what people are going through outside of just being sick. Um, Alcoholism can come from being sick or losing a job, anything like that. And mental illness is a big part of it too. So it is important that we recognize that. Um, Another thing is I always wanted to gain the knowledge about it, but I never feel like I couldn't. I never feel like I could. So I wanted to know more about alcoholism. I wanted to know why my uncle was going through what he was going through. I wanted to know why my grandpa was going through what he was going through. But that distance between us felt like I couldn't learn more about it, even though I wanted to. So I never knew where to gain the information from or where to learn it from. All growing up, it was kind of like a negative thing. Alcoholics are this, alcoholics are that. But there was never enough information about what happens or why they go through it or what causes people to become alcoholics. So that was another big reason on why I wanted to learn more about it, and why I chose that as my topic. Um, Alcohol Anonymous was one of like the first things I looked into. So I talked about what is Alcohol Anonymous and who attends. Alcoholic Anonymous is a group of people who come together to try and solve their drinking problems. Even if it's not alcoholics, it can be drug addicts, any type of addiction. Even people who aren't alcoholics can attend these meetings, or family members of alcoholics. People who have been alcoholics for 10 years plus, 20 years plus, still continue to take these classes, go to these classes, hang out with these people because that's where they feel welcomed. AA meetings are free to attend, and donations are always welcomed. All the ones that I went to, they send around a little basket with the during the thing to talk to send around money if you want to put a few dollars in there. People put some notes in there to say how they're doing, stuff like that, which I find important. Many AA meetings are held everywhere. There is different types of meetings, of course. There's open meetings, so some of the times they let people who are not alcoholics come to the meetings. Sometimes they don't. Um, it also sometimes it's like just females, sometimes it's just males, sometimes it's like a Hispanic one, the native speaking, different languages, barriers, all that. We offer all those in different settings, so everyone has a way to go and feel welcomed at their AA meeting. Um, Anyone who may have an alcoholic problem or who just wants to learn more about alcoholics. So I went to these meetings, to the open meetings around my town to learn more about the alcoholics, although I'm not an alcoholic. So anyone can attend at any given time. I feel like it's important to learn more about alcoholics and what they're going through and their perspective on things. Many people are only thinking about themselves. They don't wonder what these people are going through on a daily basis or what their thought process is or how they're feeling about the situation. They just want to think about themselves. So I find it very important that people outside of the population are attending these meetings too, along with people who were in the meetings told me the same thing. They're glad that I was stepping out of my comfort zone and coming to learn more about them. It means a lot to them too, because they want to be included. They want you to know what they're going through and how they're feeling. statistics. So I did put a couple of statistics in here that I had found. In Iowa, 22.8% of adults report binge drinking or heavy drinking. So this doesn't mean that they always attend the AA meetings, but when it becomes like a binging or a heavy drinking, some people do try to attend these meetings so that it doesn't get out of hand. I know a couple people who have started going because they feel like they're almost to that level, or they think that they might be an alcoholic. I also put another statistic down there of how many people in the United States are reported attending an AA meeting. This is just people who have reported it, so this isn't just everyone who has. This was also in December of 2021, so statistics probably have changed, but this is just a rough amount of how many people have attended in the United States. The interview number one, I did it with my uncle. My uncle, he had been an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic for about roughly 5 years. Um, I was around 15 when I started to notice that, like, we were going out to dinners. He was drinking like 10, 12 drinks a night. It wasn't like a simple, let's have a beer. My parents were having a beer. It was more rapidly drinking. So I myself have went up to him and asked him questions about it. And he always just told me it was nothing. So I had asked him what made him attend the AA meetings and how have they changed him. He told me that all the words from his people that were close to him telling him that something was wrong was what encouraged him to go to the AA meetings. He said they have changed him greatly. He says that although he's not an alcoholic anymore, he still continues to go to them 2 to 3 times a month, which I find so important because he says that he still gains so much from it and learning more about people. It encourages him not to pick up a drink of alcohol anymore. And although it may be hard sometimes, he continues to strive to want to be better. I then asked him how was the conversation notifying them that you felt like you were an alcoholic. And he said that for the most part, they all already knew that he was an alcoholic before he even noticed himself. He said that they were coming up to him continuously telling him something was wrong, and he was like denying it over and over again. And now he finally realizes that they were right and he needed to get the help that he needed. And he said that the AA meetings were the start to him changing his life around for the better. He told me that there was nights where he didn't think he was going to come home to a wife, he didn't think he was going to want any of his kids anymore, and that he was happy that this all got changed around because of this. The AA meeting first that I attended was in Leeds, and they all introduced themselves, such as like, "Hi, I'm Haley, I'm an alcoholic," or "Hi, I'm Haley, I'm an observer." That's how they introduced themselves. And there was one person leading the discussion, and they brought up a topic, and then everyone else kind of just gathered conversation around the topic that that person had chose. So each meeting they have a different person who leads the meeting. Um, it helps everybody get included. Everyone told their own story about what they were going through. The one that they talked about when I was there was what encouraged them, what was their reasoning for not drinking anymore. What would they drop to stop drinking? During this meeting, one guy brought up how dropping the friends that he thought were his friends from the bar. Every time that they would come around, he was drinking again. He knew that the only time that he was drinking was if they were around, so dropping them was what he had to do. They weren't his real friends. They didn't encourage him to become better. They were just drinking and drinking, and he said that was not for him. And after he had left them, it was a whole different lifestyle for him. So it makes me understand that the groups of people who you hang out with really do have an impact on who you are. Um, then everyone else kind of agreed with him. Everyone was saying how that's so true, and it really was just sad because you don't think about it when you're encouraging your friends to do this, and it ends up being that they're encouraging you to do stuff that you shouldn't be doing anymore. The AA to eating meeting two. It was kind of like the same setting, sort of. It was downtown. They handed out pins though for the first time members. So it was like a key that they had reached their 24-hour period of being sober. I thought that was pretty cool. They passed the pin around the room, and everyone got to touch it, hold it, say anything that they wanted to it. Just give that person the extra feeling of like you got this type of thing. They also continued to get the pins for months after that. So there was one person that hit a year when I was there. 2 weeks before, someone had hit 10 years, which is really cool. These people are continuously going to these meetings over and over again. These people come so close to each other. They all encourage each other. It was also cool how like members gave people, the new people, their pins. So a couple times they were knowing how they knew each other from the streets and they were giving each other the pin. So it was kind of like a supplemental thing, like we're both doing it. It was like a words of encouragement to each other. They talked about it. This one too, though, one person led the group and there was like discussions all the way around it, which was really cool, hearing everyone's story and how they were doing, and it was encouraging them to do better. Online resources are always helpful. Sometimes it can be 2 in the morning when you think you needed a drink, or you might be driving past a bar and you're like, ooh, a drink sounds good. There's 24/7 phone services, online computer resources, someone to chit chat with, someone to type with, website with information, giving them words of encouragement, stuff like that. Helplines and hotlines always. These are important. This one on here on the screen is 0800 787 797. This is important for a helpline. Inpatient versus outpatient. So there is patients who do have to stay inside of a place for a sober community 24/7, but there is also the outside patients who maybe are living a halfway home. They just got home from jail or they just got home from prison and they don't have anywhere else to go, trying to get on their feet. They go to work, they come back to the place, that's where they live, or sometimes you just have to stay in the place all the time. It's where you live 24/7. There's also just places around Sioux City where you can go and get the help you need while living at home still. My uncle did that for the first 6 months of being sober. He was going to a place every night. He was getting the help he needed. It was what he had to do. And then after that, that's when he started attending the AA meetings. They encouraged him to attend the AA meetings to continue to stay sober. Not always does it help. Sometimes they get out and they go back onto the same path. Sometimes they do it over and over again without patience and patience. There's always that fear of they not might return home if they're an outpatient or back to the place. Sometimes when they go out and they work, they don't come home, stuff like that. But both of these treatments are a way to get sober. Inpatients tend to be more expensive, but the outpatients are a little bit of money. Sober Home of Siouxland. This is on 2216 Jackson Street. I went and toured it, and I got to see some of the rooms that he offers. There's like 17 rooms in the house where he has had people living at different times. He only has a couple right now, and I got to speak with them also, and they were talking to me about how Sioux City really is where they feel keeps them sober. This is what keeps them going. Um, Sioux City is where they belong. This is where the most help is at. Um, the dude who owns the house lives in the home with them. He encourages them. He gives them what they need. He takes them places if they need to. They're required to have they're required to have a supporter. They're required to stay on top of meetings, all that. But that he offers a home for them to live in so they can get better. Reflection. I talked about what I kind of gained from doing this project. Alcoholics want us to learn more about why this happens. Alcoholics do care about us coming and learning more. They want us to know more about them. They want us to know that there's good in them still. Addicts want help and we can provide a welcoming place for that to be done, such as AA meetings, supporting places in Sioux City that offer them the help that they need. Keeping these businesses running, keep AA meetings to still be happening. Attending AA meetings is helpful to all. It's not just alcoholics or addicted people that can attend the meetings. Everyone can attend and learn more about them, what they're going through, and it's important that we know that they are trying and it's not easy. So just being proud of people who are giving it their shot, giving it their all to get sober. Support the friends who have outgrown the addiction. The encouragement helps them. If they have people around them who are telling them, oh, let's just get one drink, let's do this, it's not helping them. So understanding that they're trying to get the help they need. So don't keep egging them on to keep drinking or being around them when they're drinking. just let them get the help that they want and encourage them at all costs. Also, that one big takeaway I talked about it earlier, but bar friends and outside friends are not the same. He really did tell me that these outside friends are going to support you with what you want to do. They aren't going to encourage you to keep drinking. So there's a difference between these friends, and it's important to realize that. And then I just have sources. Thank you.